an injustice and awards a free kick to Jordan that allows them to clear their lines conclusively. Lifted over the top now for the run of Musa Tamari, who is going to bring it down on the left hand side now as he got space to make his way into. He runs directly into Stefan Posch on the right hand side of his own Austrian penalty area, and Posch might be able to spark the counter attack now as Schmid plays it forward into the feet of Kaladzic, who's brought down fairly according to the referee. Looks like a bit of a shoulder check from Mo Abu Al Naldi. The referee says play on. And Jordan maintain possession now with Al Rawabdi. It's back with the defender Al Arab and across to Nasib, and right the way out to the right hand side of the pitch for Jordan to allow Ehsan Haddad to attempt to blast it forward from his starting position. Closed down very quickly by Marcel Sabitzer, who seemed to get the final touch. And a Jordan throw is the outcome. Well, for anybody tuning into this audio coverage, I have to imagine that you are an English speaker, and with that the name Ralph Rangnick may well ring a bell if you keep your eye on English club football. He was brought in as temporary manager of Manchester United following the departure of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in 2021. Seems like a lifetime ago now. And in steadying the ship, and departed to allow for Erik ten Hag to take the helm. Manchester United no strangers to temporary managers, having had Michael Carrick at the helm in temporary charge throughout the second half of the most recent 25-26 campaign at club football level. His opposite number in Jamal Salami in this game against Austria, or Jordan. He's a man who was awarded Jordanian citizenship after an Arab Cup run for Jordan. Saw them reach the final of the competition, defeated by Morocco in the final of that competition. Morocco actually where Salami hails from, and the nation he represented as a player all the way back at France 98, which is the last tournament of this kind that Austria qualified for before 2026. Interesting how things come full circle like that. Here is Stefan Posch now for Austria, 10 minutes into this Group J game. 0-0 it remains between Austria and tournament debutants Jordan. David Alaba, the captain for Austria, down the line. It's helped on by Sabitzer to Mwene, who's able to turn and just about fish out across, and Kaladzic with the header on across the 6-yard area, flicked away for Jordan by Al Arab. David Alaba picks up the pieces 30 yards from goal and attempts to drive it towards Abu Leila's goal. It's closed down at source and the clearance is made for Jordan, only to the halfway line where Alex Schlager, the goalkeeper's come a long way. Now Sabitzer on the left. Can he make space for the delivery? Yes, he can. Looking for Kaladzic, headed away before it reaches him. Scrambled into the feet now inside of the penalty area of Konrad Laimer, and eventually launched out into space by Abdallah Nasib of Al-Zawra. Another challenge made, this time by Hazan Al Arab, who attempted to stick out a leg and take the ball off the feet of Romano Schmid. In the process of the continued Austria attack, Konrad Laimer finds himself in an offside position, which the assistant referee picked up on, and so did the Jordan manager Jamal Salami. Means a Jordan free kick will be the next action of the game. Taken short by Abu Leila. Al Arab out to the left hand side for Taha, and Taha finds a ball over the top now for the chase of Ali Olwan. Now he is the man that Austria will need to be careful of, as the delivery is played into the danger area by Fakuri. Headed away now for Austria by Philipp Leinhardt, and as Romano Schmid reached the edge of the centre circle, still inside of Austria territory, he was dragged down unfairly according to the referee by Abdallah Nasib, who does stick a leg out and takes none of the ball but does take plenty of the man. There are a few complaints for the Al-Zawar defender to have. Alabar now for Austria as all the Jordanian players retreat behind the ball and the build-up play begins for das Team. Ali Olwan then the danger man, as I was going to wax lyrical about, until the Jordanian attack was halted quite quickly. Scoring twice against Morocco in the Arab Cup final. Also a goal scorer in games against Iraq and Egypt throughout that tournament for Jordan as they reached the final. And just for good measure, he also scored a hat-trick against Iraq as Jordan confirmed qualification for this tournament. Denied by Iraq going into the 1986 iteration of this competition. Victorious over Iraq to confirm their spot this time around. All of 40 years later, retribution for Jordan. Here is Stefan Posch now of Mainz for Austria. Into the feet of Philipp Leinhardt. David Alabar, every single defender on the pitch for Austria getting a touch, as now Sabitzer picks it up inside of the Jordan half. Sabitzer delivers early, and it's knocked down by Lima, looking for Kaladzic, and that almost definitely should have been 1-0 to Austria there. Lima's knocked down for Kaladzic, just let him down ever so slightly. Alabar picks up the pieces now for Austria. Sabitzer. Backwards it goes now for Austria to the halfway line, and Ali Olwan is putting on the pressure. Turning on the afterburners to chase down the loose ball right the way back to Alex Schlager, the Salzburg goalkeeper, who sends it long. It's nodded down for Jordan into the feet now of Al Rashdan. Now on the right hand side it's Fakouri into the feet of Olwan, and driving into the penalty area now is Tamari. Olwan in a crossing position on the right, lays it off to his captain Hassan Haddad. Now Nasib plays it all the way back to the halfway line for Al Arab. Abu Al Nadi. Gets that one underneath his foot. Taha was waiting on the left hand side of the halfway line, but he only plays it into trouble. Now Kaladzic. Now here is Schlager on the edge of the centre circle inside of Jordanian territory for Austria. And all of a sudden again Jordan are right behind the ball. Delivery is deep from the right hand side. It was played into the middle Sievold. Delivery that left something to be desired. Kaladzic was the target, and he was able to get there, although he's under far too much pressure. And as he knocked it down for the man who joined him in the penalty area there for Austria. It was Sabitzer who was waiting. In an offside position, let the clearance be made, and the result now is the first corner of the game to be taken by Sabitzer. It's short, and now it's lifted in by Mwene. It's headed away by Al Arab. Jordan are unable to keep it under their control now. Here is Konrad Lima on the edge of the penalty area, and I think he's been caught in an offside position there. Oh, I stand corrected. It's grabbing and shoving from Konrad Lima against Musa Tamari. Here come Jordan now on the counter. Oh, it's a shot from the edge of the box. That came very quickly. For the tournament debutants, it was Ode Fakouri of Pyramids FC who got right to the edge of the penalty area. Struck it well, struck it deflected off of David Alaba. For the first time in this game, Alex Schlager is forced into action. Right after the first corner of the match that came for Austria, it's a second that comes for Jordan. This is a really good concrete chance for them to bag their first goal in their first game at this tournament. Fakouri will take the corner. Plenty of bodies forward for Jordan. It's a bit of a unique corner routine that sees it played back halfway into the Austria half. It's launched into the danger area by Al Rawabdi. Eventually cleared by Konrad Laimer. And all of a sudden the counter-attack is on for Austria, but it's just about out of the reach of Romano Schmidt as Sabitzer switches from left to right. And the outcome will be a Jordan's throw on the left-hand side, deep inside their own territory. It's a throw, and it's virtually taken right in front of the manager, Jamal Salami. To get a word in the ear of his left back in Taha before the throw is taken. Jordan maintain possession of the ball now, back with their goalkeeper Yazid Aboureya. Sievald into the feet of Schmidt. Now out to the left hand side for Sabitzer, who's got Mwene for company. Here is Mwene now with the delivery. Kaladzic plays it back. It's Marcel Sabitzer thinking about bending a strike from the edge of the box, twisting and turning onto his left, can't get it out of his feet. Still into the penalty area goes Laimer. Kaladzic stabs it over. Corner of the 6-yard box. A litany of Jordan bodies between the LASK forward and the goal being guarded by Yazid Aboulela. And the build-up, there was an offside that's been spotted. It was spotted by the goalkeeper himself as well against Konrad Laimer. In the end, the defence did its job, throwing itself in the way of Kaladzic's short-range effort. And even if they hadn't, the offside flag would have been enough to keep the score at 0-0 on that occasion. Jordan unable to get the ball out of their box though. Sievald sees his ball forward intercepted and cleared into the sky by Al Arab. Throwing on the right hand side now for Austria. Now David Alaba. Across to his central defensive partner Philipp Lienhardt. Alaba again. Schlager. It's Xaver Schlager, not Alex. The midfielder, not the goalkeeper, although they do both play their club football for RB Salzburg. It's a clever turn from Laimer. Schlager continues his run on the left-hand side, waits for reinforcements. He's going to find one here. As the shot comes in from the edge of the box, it's a brilliant finish. Romano Schmidt gets Austria off the mark in 2026. 1-0 to Austria. That is an absolute pile driver from the Werder Bremen midfielder. A little bit of the wind out of the sails of the Jordanians, who've been in full-throated voice, full-throated singing ever since the start of this game. It's taken 20 minutes for them to be undone by a team who, yes, haven't qualified for this tournament since France '98, but they are veterans. They are one-time third place nation and a one-time fourth place nation. And now 28 years on from their most recent foray on this stage, it's Romano Schmidt of Werder Bremen who bends a beauty into the top right-hand corner from his perspective, the top left of Yazid Aboulela's goal. From the edge of the box, and the goalkeeper for Al Hussein didn't even move as he watched it sail past him onto the postage stamp. It's a perfect way for Austria to open their account. And it's 1-0 now, but Jordan are looking to hit back quickly. There's an intervention made by David Alaba now to intercept the run of Moussa Tamari. And immediately after conceding a goal, Jordan are going on the offensive. It's going to be a corner kick for them. 22 minutes in, Austria 1, Jordan 0. Reminder to watch this game on your local or national broadcaster as well. That goal is worth watching all on its own. Bakori will take this corner now for Jordan. And it's flicked on at the near post off the bar. That is heartbreaking for Nassib, who was lurking on the corner of the 6-yard box and very nearly restored parity immediately for Jordan, as it was lifted into the penalty area. A short corner turned into a first-time delivery, left-footed by Moussa Tamari. Flicked on completely unmarked by Abdallah Nassib there at the near post. We're trying to put a bit of a loop onto the header itself and hope it would drop under the crossbar and leave Alex Schlager stranded. It definitely did the latter, it just didn't quite have enough dip to do the former. And this game has come to life at the San Francisco Bay Area Stadium. It's now going to come to a halt as the hydration break, the first allowed for these two teams, begins. Well, perhaps there's no better time to score than just before the half-time whistle, or maybe just before the full-time whistle, but the hydration breaks that have been introduced in this tournament to deal with the searing heat under the California sun. There's another time to allow Austria to regroup, as well as Jordan, the leaders and the team that now find themselves behind. Romano Schmid was one of the many goal scorers for Austria as they qualified for this tournament in their 7th most recent game that they have played in all competitions, friendlies included. A 10-0 victory over San Marino, which is a scoreline that San Marino themselves are not unfamiliar with. That was the last time that the Werder Bremen midfielder got on the score sheet for his country, but the goal that he scored this game against Jordan to get them off the mark in the 2026 iteration of the greatest international tournament on the planet will feel so much better in front of a packed out San Francisco Bay Area Stadium in Santa Clara, a stadium that has been home to many iconic moments in American sporting history, handful of Super Bowls, WrestleMania in 2015. Now more than happy to take part in hosting this tournament for the first time since it was built in 2013. Well, it appears we're nearing the end of the hydration breaks now. Just as we do, it is worth mentioning that not only is Austria's first goal of this tournament, but it's also the first goal that Austria have ever scored against Jordan in any capacity when it comes to football matches, at least those that are on record. That might come as a surprise to very few people, given the distant nature between these two nations. Still, in terms of Jordanian pub quizzes, for as long as they might exist, the first team that this nation faced on the grandest stage in world football, the answer will always and forever be Austria. And the first goal scorer for Austria at this tournament will always and forever be Romano Schmid. Well, ready to get back underway now after the hydration breaks. 25 minutes on the clock. Austria 1, Jordan 0. Romano Schmid on 21 minutes, lighting the touch paper for das team, forcing the debutants onto the back foot, position they've seldom found themselves in over the course of the last 12 to 18 months, whether that be in qualification for this tournament or in a fantastic run to the Arab Cup final. Will ready himself for a Austria throw now on the right hand side. Posch does leave the throw to Lienhardt, who does have the long throw in his arsenal, and it was allowed to drop into the Jordan penalty area there, but not before a scrambled clearance. It's going to make its way right the way back to Alex Schlager, the Salzburg goalkeeper. Now here is Seevold of Leipzig. Lienhardt. Niklas Seevold again. Philipp Lienhardt again. Two players who play their club football in the German Bundesliga. this man as well, and Stefan Posch. Keeping the ball to themselves on the halfway line, but making little progress now into Jordanian territory. They finally do as Schlager puts his head down and drives forward about 20-30 yards. And it's out to the left-hand side now for Philippe Mwene. Back with Alaba, the captain. Right the way back to Lineheart. A little bit of a hospital pass, but Seevold does get there ahead of anybody in white. Forward towards Sasa Kaladzic, who's unable to bring it under his control, but Austria maintain possession now, and that's a clever dummy from Sabitzer. Allows Mwene to run into space on the left-hand side, and Mwene delivers across the floor, and it's cleared away by Al Arab. Chested down by Alabar, brought down by Schlager. Alabar again, and Mwene again. Austria wanting to keep momentum in their favour. Poor pass from Mwene. Alabar sliding in, just about reaches it ahead of Ali Olwan. And now Sabitzer can play it forward, looking for Kaladzic, who looked like he was being dragged down from behind there by Yazan Al Arab. Referee sees nothing wrong with it. Austria continue their attack. Sabitzer on the left, under a bit of pressure by Ehsan Haddad. Back with Alabar, and now under the control of Philipp Lineheart. Cross from Schlager into the feet of Posch, and now it's back with Lineheart again. Alabar and Seevold, the three players not named Alex Schlager, inside of the Austria half right now. Players in possession of the ball as well. As an interception doesn't go Jordan's way. Posch able to lay it off into the attacking third now for the goal scorer, and Schmidt. And now Mwene with a delivery from the left-hand side. Kaladzic can't rearrange himself for the header. Konrad Leimer's going to get there first. Austria keep this going. Here's Seevold. Now Schlager wants to go out to the right-hand side. Closed down at source by Al Rawabdi. Still space for Schmidt now on the edge of the box as he attempts to stick it through the legs of two players in white for the run of Konrad Leimer, but it's a bit too wayward from Romano Schmidt. Chase of Konrad Leimer. Never going to reach that loose ball. Romano Schmidt, the goal scorer in this game, as we tick into the half-hour mark. 1-0 it remains to Austria. One thing worth mentioning as well is the celebration that was employed by the Werder Bremen midfielder. Was that he ran right the way over to his manager Ralf Rangnick and the rest of the technical staff involved in Austria's preparations for this tournament. What can Jordan do for themselves now as they make their way into the attacking third? Plenty of bodies back for Austria, forcing Jordan to turn and pass it backwards to their defender Abu Al-Naldi of Selangor. So that's on the left hand side for Mohamed Abu Taha. Twisting and turning is Ali Olwan. Attempts to lay it off to Musa Tamari. In the end, the ball is lifted out to the right-hand side for Haddad, who delivers. One was the target, didn't reach it in time. Jordan maintain possession now on the edge of the attacking third. Here is Abu Al-Nadi. That's Al Rawabdi. Smart ball into the feet of Al Rashdan, who turns and attempts to make space for the shot, but there are all of a sudden four players in red and black surrounding him, and now here come the counter-attack for those players in red and black. It's Kaladzic right the way into the penalty area, able to turn, not quite able to feed it into the feet of Marcel Sabitzer in a 2-on-2. Plenty of pressure applied on the Austrian attacker there by the two retreating defenders for Jordan in Abu Al-Nadi and Al Arab. Now Haddad has his pocket picked as Jordan attempt to counter the counter. Austria can slow the game now down deep inside their own half. It's launched forward for Austria. The chase is on for Posch, and he is going to get there, and he's going to get there with plenty of space on Abu Al-Nadi. Posch into the penalty area. Closed down by Al Arab on the recovery. I believe the final tip came off the FC Seoul defender, which means the next action, in that case it would have been a corner kick, but does not appear to have been the case in the end. It's Posh who takes the shot on directly into the outstretched shin of Al-Arab. And it bounces back off the Mainz fullback and goes away for what will be a Jordan goal kick. Just as we ready ourselves for that goal kick, Konrad Leimer's having a few choice words with the referee. He felt that he was fouled as Austria came forward 2 minutes ago. A 2-on-2 counter-attack. He felt that he was having his shirt pulled. The referee says it was 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. I'm inclined to agree after seeing a slow-motion replay. You can see for yourself if you tune in on your national or local broadcasters to this game as it's happening. Schmid is chasing down the loose ball on the halfway line. It's been muscled away from him by Mohamed Abu Taha. Here he is again. Backwards into the feet of Al-Arab. Al-Arab gets it back from Nasib. And here is Abu Al-Nadi of Selangor. The only starting 11 change made for Jordan coming into this game following their most recent match, a 2-0 defeat to Colombia. Jordan into the penalty area now. Oh, it's a strike from a tight angle by Tamari, who was looking to get the rebound as well after it was closed down by a retreating Austrian defender in Leinhardt. Rebound didn't quite come up, but the attack's not over yet. The delivery is Tajas from deep. Schlager on the recovery. Edge of the penalty area with Al-Rashdan, gets into the box and tumbles to the ground. Theatrically for the referee's liking. Clearance is made in the end as the Jordanian players appeal for a penalty. I think those appeals are going to continue to fall on deaf ears. Well, it was knocked down by Haddad for that attacking opportunity. For Musa Tamari, his shot was saved and the rebound was blocked in the end. I'm not sure Philip Leinhardt knew anything about it, but it struck him in the back and allowed Jordan to make their clearance. Really good opportunity there for Jordan. They're looking to create another one for themselves now with Fakouri. With Olwan, who's operated very heavily down the left-hand side throughout this match for Jordan, despite being listed as the out-and-out striker. This is club football for Al Salia. 10 minutes to play of the first half of this Group J game. Abu Al-Naldi. Again, the Selangor defender to the halfway line for Taha. Switch from left to right by Al-Rashdan, able to be brought down by Haddad, who shouts at his fellow international to play it further forward next time. Don't make me retreat for the ball that was in space to receive. Just about got away from him as when he gets ready for throw-in that he was interested in taking quickly there for Austria, but none of his teammates appeared to be on the same wavelength. From about 10 yards behind the halfway line, Austria will resume the game with a throw. Ball being chased down by Kaladzic, who was judged to have fouled his opposite number in Nasib. As the two men went for the same ball there, it looked like there were handfuls of shirts between both players, but the referee has spotted favours Jordan. Nasib again. It's a poor ball down the line, intercepted comfortably by Xaver Schlager, and the first touch passes for Austria. Very nearly reap substantial rewards, but a chested down creative touch there by Konrad Leimer just gets away from Marcel Sabitzer. These two players crossing the Bayern-Dortmund divide on an international level to do what's best for their nation at this tournament. Throwing on the right-hand side now for Jordan. After coming together between Sabitzer and Nasib. Here's Nasib who takes the throw. Gets the immediate return from Al-Rashdan. That's backwards by Al-Arab to the goalkeeper Abu Layla. Into the feet of Al-Nadi, who smashes it into the arriving Romano Schmidt and wins a goal kick as a result. He might be able to count his lucky stars there that clearance didn't deflect anywhere troubling for Jordan. Layla would have liked to have been stuck in a 2-on-1 scenario as a goalkeeper. That clearance had bounced into somebody in red and black. Clearance is made now from the goal kick, knocked down by somebody in red and black. That's somebody being David Alaba. Now here is Philipp Mwene on the halfway line for Austria. Konrad Laimer. Twisting and turning on the halfway line now for Austria, and turning right the way back to the goalkeeper is Philipp Lienhardt. There's a real scramble going on now for Romano Schmidt, who's just about unable to maintain possession despite throwing his body in all sorts of directions. It's back now with Posch and Lienhardt again, a little bit of pressure from the Jordan forwards. Back now with the goalkeeper Alex Schlager. Inviting the pressure of Ali Olwan and Ode Fakhouri before rolling it out to Lienhardt. Now here is Alaba. Switches from left to right. Chested down by Al-Arab. Now into the midfield for Al-Rashdan, who brings it down well. Gives it back to Al-Arab. Looks for the return. It's just about too far in front of him, and in the end it's food and drink for Philipp Lienhardt. And now here comes the Austrian counter. Kaladzic holds up the play on the edge of the centre circle before being bundled into by Al-Rashdan. This is club football for Qatar SC. Sticking a leg out on the LASK forward. And there's just over 5 minutes of normal time to play at the end of this first half. It remains Austria 1, Jordan 0. Clearly enjoying themselves regardless of their allegiances at the San Francisco Bay Area Stadium. Mexican waves out in full force. David Alaba readies himself for this free kick on the edge of the centre circle. No wall, but a line of bodies back for Jordan on the edge of their own penalty area as Alaba delivers. Floated towards the back post. Lima got the header, and the referee has indicated in the direction of his linesman. Offside awarded against Konrad Lima, who's been a victim to that a good handful of times in the opening 45 minutes of this Group J game. Rab will take the kick for Jordan, about 5 yards in front of his penalty area. Plays it short to Al-Nadi. Al-Nadi goes forward. He was attempted to be brought down by Tamari, but he was dragged down from behind by Xaver Schlager. Another free kick awarded, and rather than being 10 yards in front of the Jordan penalty area, now it's about 20 yards in front of the halfway line in their favour. With some defensive work to do here if they want to take this 1-goal lead into the break. It's 3 different players in white stand over the ball, and it will be Al-Rashdan to deliver. And it's flicked off the head of an Austria defender, namely Philipp Lienhardt, who concedes a corner. Well, this is how Jordan got their best opportunity of the half about 20 minutes ago. Short pass by Fakhouri, and delivery by Tamari that found the head of Nasib, found the crossbar. So what they have up their sleeve this time. This is going to be left for Mohamed Abu Taha of AQ Al Jawiya. Taha's delivery along the floor, attempted to be brought under control by Olwan. Taha gets the return. And onside position for now, apparently. Taha maintains possession, twisting and turning away from Mwene, and the attempted, I think, roulette shot at goal. It's a hard technique to describe for Ali Olwan there, but as the ball came in, he was attempting to backheel it towards the Austrian goal. Didn't quite come off. Austria make the intervention and the clearance, which is met by a returning clearance of a similar nature for Jordan. Back towards the initial corner taker in Fakhouri, who is bundled down by Posh from behind, and the referee awards a free kick Jordan's way. This one's in a much more advanced position than the previous free kick for the debutante. Al Nashama, the nickname is, for the Jordanian national team. Anybody interested? The Austrian national team also has a nickname. Can you guess what it is? I'll give you one guess. It's Das Team. Very creative. Here we go again then. Taha leaves the free kick. It's a short back heel by Fakhouri, and it's drilled into the danger area by Tamari. To be cleared with the same amount of force as Austria push Jordan right the way back into their own half. Doesn't last long though. Conrad Lima making an interception, and Xaver Schlager attempting to turn away from Fakhouri. Able to run the ball out of play for a throw, and with less than a minute of normal time to play at the end of this first half of this Group J game, Jordan have another opportunity to flood the box with bodies. Eventually try and drag themselves level before the break. Austria 1, Jordan 0. The other Group J game that took place about an hour and 45 minutes ago, or at least finished about an hour and 45 minutes ago, between Argentina and Algeria, finished 3-0 to the Argentines. Lionel Messi hat-trick. Here goes Fakhouri for Jordan. Now Taha. Got Olwan with him if he wants. He finds Fakhouri again, who switches from left to right. Plenty of space for the captain, Ehsan Haddad. Haddad lays it off to Al Rashdan. 3 players in red surround him. The delivery is Haddad's, and lurking in the penalty area was Olwan. It's not away yet. Taha attempts to stab it into the feet of Al Rawabdi. Clearance is eventually made, and as it is, we tick into the 45th minute of this match, which means the 4th official's board is raised. 4 minutes at the end of this first half of this Group J game as an opportunity presents itself for Jordan. It was a shot from Moussa Tamari, who must have run 30 yards or so from a deep lying position on the right hand side inside the Austria half to reach the edge of the box. But under pressure from left and right by the retreating Austrian defenders, the shot is a little bit of a daisy cutter, and it trickles against the side netting of Alex Schlager's goal, and a goal kick is awarded as a result. Jordan still wanting to create something for themselves in the closing stages of this half, but they're not going to do it on this occasion. On the halfway line now, as the ball is pinched back by Noor El Rawabdi. Done so by fouling Nicholas Sievold. Excuse me, fouling. Yeah, I'm right, it is Sievold, excuse me. I was confusing myself between Sievold and Schlager, the 2 defensive midfielders for Austria. It is definitely the Leipzig man, not the Salzburg one. And now David Alaba, the captain, unmistakably the captain, David Alaba, will take this free kick, and he takes it short. Sievold. Alaba again. It into his own half to find his defensive partner in Leinhardt. Posh goes back to Schlager. Goalkeeper goes forward. Kaladzic was the target. He didn't get there, but it bounced over the top of everybody and runs out to the right hand side, where it's recovered by Romano Schmidt, the goal scorer for Austria. Corner of the box now is Schmidt, able to lift it into the box. Kaladzic was waiting. He had to retreat to reach it. The interception is made, and now Jordan can counter. Olwan was chasing down a loose ball, but coming a long way to meet it was Alex Schlager again, the Austria goalkeeper, who lifts it into the feet of Mwene. Here is Schlager. Zeverschlager again. Intercepted after Posh's pass. Finds the feet of Al-Rawabdi, but Al-Rawabdi gives it away a bit cheaply on the halfway line. Konrad Laimer from right to left now, knocked into the air by Sabitzer. Kaladzic nowhere near it. This is going to be comfortable for Nasib to mop up for Jordan. And forward it goes, and it's chested down by Tamari, and he might have the opportunity to break now after getting the better of David Alaba. Tamari into the penalty area. Moussa Tamari can't make space for the shot. He's bundled down by a recovering Sievold. And despite the claims from the Jordanian persuasion inside of the San Francisco Bay Area Stadium, appeals for a penalty fall on deaf ears as we tick into the final minute of the additional 4 at the end of this first half of this Group J game. Sievold. Just inside of the Jordan half. Here's Posh. Again, Posh again, way back to Schlager, and it looks as though Austria are going to be keen to see out the remaining 30 seconds of this first half. Alaba, forward it goes, and anticipating the bounce of the ball was Konrad Laimer, but in the way was Nasib. Still Austria maintain possession. Kaladzic from range goes high over the top of Abulela's goal. Surely that will be the final action of this first half. Ralf Rangnick already making his way down the tunnel as the referee does call time on the first half of this Group J game. It's a game that's been, as of now, decided by a moment of individual brilliance from Romano Schmidt of Werder Bremen, receiving the ball into his feet on the edge of the penalty area, making space for the shot and bending in beauty into the top corner of Yazid Abulela's goal. Austria by far the heavier hitters in this contest, but that's not to say that Jordan have been completely out of this match so far. Opportunities for them, including ones for the likes of Moussa Tamari. Very early on, the captain Ehsan Haddad had the opportunity to give his nation the lead. Perhaps the best chance of the game. Fell to Abdallah Nasib, the defender, who flicked on from a corner onto the crossbar. Still all to play for in this Group J opening match. But as the two teams make their way down the tunnel at the San Francisco Bay Area Stadium in Santa Clara, California, it's Austria 1, Jordan 0. Tune in 15 minutes or so for the second half of this live audio coverage.
Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page.
Welcome back to this unofficial studio-based off-tube commentary of the Group J game between Austria and Jordan. You're tuning in live to hear all the action from a packed-out San Francisco Bay Area Stadium in Santa Clara, California. My name is Jay Cooper and I'll be your commentator for the next 45 minutes or so to run you through the second half of the action under the searing Californian sun, as Jordan, the debutants to this tournament, make their way back out onto the field well in advance of their opponents Austria, who hold a one-goal lead from the first half. A goal very excellently scored by Romano Schmidt to get Ralf Rangnick's side off the mark at the 2026 competition, bending a beauty into the top corner. And as we ready ourselves for the second half, Jordan are unchanged, Austria in the process of making one substitution to the team that begun this match. And it looks as though we are going to see the introduction of the 37-year-old Marko Arnautovic of Crvena Zvezda, formerly of Stoke and West Ham in the English Premier League. Ready to make his way onto the field at the expense of Sasa Kaladzic, a like-for-like substitution. One striker for another, one veteran goal scorer being brought into the mix for Austria, hoping to put some daylight between themselves and Jordan. And it will be the visitors, Jordan, in their mostly white strip with the red trim that get us kicked off for this second half. Austria in the mostly red strip with the black trim, the black shorts to boot. Jordan from left to right, Austria from right to left. Jordan in a 4-5-1, Austria in a 4-2-3-1. And as the referee readies himself to blow the whistle for the second half of this game at the San Francisco Bay Area Stadium, a capacity of 68,500 people this stadium can hold. It has never quite played host to an event like this. And Jordan get it kicked off for the second half of this Group J game via their man of the moment, who has been at the centre of all things good for Jordanian football on an international stage in recent years, in Ali Olwan. Played right the way back to the goalkeeper now, Yazid Abu Layla, who attempts to launch it forward. A bit of a miss kick from the Al Hussein shot stopper. And Austria are able to bring the ball under their command for a brief moment on the halfway line, but they've conceded it just as quickly as they won it back. Now here come Jordan. An attempt to switch from right to left now by the captain Ehsan Haddad, who was driving forward on the counter-attack. And Austria can't get it out of their defensive third. Here is Haddad again. Looks like he's going to get another chance to get it into the penalty area. And in plenty of space, able to get there just in time to fizz it across the penalty area was Nizar Al-Rashdan. It's a delivery that goes right into the arms of the Austria goalkeeper Alex Schlager. Fronted by a back four of Stefan Posch, Philipp Leinart, David Alaba and Philipp Mwene. Nicolas Seevold partnering Xaver Schlager in defensive midfield. Konrad Laimer, Romano Schmidt, the goal scorer, and Marcel Sabitzer in behind the lone striker. Now Marko Arnautovic rather than Sasa Kaladzic. For Jordan, Yacine Aboulela, the goalkeeper, with a back five of Esen Haddad, Abdallah Nazib, Yazan Abu Al-Arab, Mo Abu Al-Nadi, and Mohamed Abu Taha. Moussa Tamari on the right, Ode Fakouri on the left, Nizar Al-Rashdan and Noor Al-Rawabdi, the midfield partnership behind the lone striker Ali Olwan. Now Arnautovic looking to get his first touch of the ball now as it's lifted over the top by the captain for Austria, David Alaba. Not quite going to reach it. Not before the goalkeeper Aboulela anyway. And the ball is bounced away for a throw on the right hand side. A throw that will go the way of Ralf Rangnick's Austria. With significant experience managing at the top level. The likes of RB Leipzig and Manchester United. Been in charge of the Austrian national team since 2022 in April, after Austria failed to qualify for the most recent iteration of this tournament prior to the 2026 competition. Jordan having never qualified for this competition in their history until now, under the stewardship of Jamal Selami. Jordan running out of room now in their own half on the left-hand side. Throw-in taken quickly by Austria. Marko Arnautovic brings it under his control, but there's more bodies back for Jordan as Austria maintain possession inside of the middle third, right on the halfway line. It's Leinhardt, the defender. Sivold now plays it back to David Alaba. Now here is Mwene on the left. He's got an option in Sabitzer, who plays a cheeky back heel for the continued run of Mwene into a crossing position. Can he hold off Haddad? He can, but not without running out of room. Goal kick awarded Jordan's way. 3.5 minutes into the second half. Austria 1, Jordan 0, and this is a reminder for everybody tuning into this live audio coverage that it's all well and good listening to what's happening in the game, but it's much better to watch it, if it's possible for you to do that on your national or local broadcasters. It's highly advised. Depending on where you are in the world, it might be the perfect way to start your day, it might be the perfect way to end it. Interception very easily made by Marcel Sabitzer now on the edge of the attacking third for Austria. Arnautovic holds it up for long enough to allow Sivold to join the fray, but he runs into traffic, and now here comes a Jordan counter-attack. All of a sudden it's 2-on-2. Driving down the left-hand side here is Moussa Tamari into the penalty area. Tamari! He's done it! He's laid it off to Olwan, and Olwan has done it. What a moment. What a moment for Jordan. Their first game on the world stage, their first goal on the world stage, scored by Ali Olwan. Bent beautifully into the far corner, they're level with Austria, and it all came from a mistake by Schlager on the edge of the attacking third, and the counter-attack was academic for the debutants. Ali Olwan, the recipient of the ball, carried into the penalty area, and he wraps his right foot around it and sends it flying beyond Alex Schlager, and it's in off the post. It is a cracker, and it is parity for Jordan, and it is a moment of history for this nation. Not only have they come to the world stage, but they have made their presence felt with a goal that will very, very much bury itself in the history of Jordanian football. Austria resume the match now, level pegging. It was 1-0 at the start of this second half. It's 1-1 now. Ali Olwan, a goal scorer twice against Morocco in the Arab Cup final, which Jordan fell to defeat against Morocco in. A goal scorer many a time throughout that tournament as well, against the likes of Iraq and Egypt. A hat-trick goal scorer to confirm Jordan's place at this competition. And now their first ever goal scorer in the finals. Or whether they've been at 0-0, 1-0 down, or now level at 1-1, the Jordanian fans inside of the San Francisco Bay Area Stadium have not let up all game. They are enjoying this occasion, and they will enjoy that moment forever and a day. Goal kick to come now for Austria. 52 minutes into this game. Austria 1, Jordan 1. Away it goes now by Abu Layla. Return to sender by David Alaba. Launched up into the air a little bit inadvertently by Al Rawabdi. Arnautovic going to attempt to bring it down, and he does. Not for very long. Alaba able to maintain possession on the halfway line for Austria now, and it's Mwene who rolls it back to Schlager, the goalkeeper. Austria with work to do if they want to restore their lead. Jordan will fancy themselves now on momentum. It's two really, really good goals as well in this game. Seek them out if you can. Watch this game on your national or local broadcaster, because if you don't, you're missing out on some fantastic finishes. First from Schmid to open the scoring, and second from Olwan to open Jordan's account at this tournament. Here is Leinhardt. Stefan Posch of Mainz back to Leinhardt of Freiburg. Across to David Alaba, the captain. Backwards it goes by Savitzer. Sievold to Schlager. Sievold again. Now Leinhardt. Clever from Posch into the feet of Konrad Leimer. Out to the right hand side for Marcel Savitzer, who's pulled back to Leimer on the edge of the box. Wasn't quite able to find its target. Another pass that's been cut out. This time is one for Jordan, played from the left by Fakouri. For the goal scorer Olwan. Sliding back on the recovery was Schlager. Jordan holding up the play now inside of the Austria half, and turning and driving backwards is Ode Fakouri. Now here is Al-Nadi. Al-Nadi to Al-Arab. Al-Arab back to the goalkeeper Abu Layla. Away it goes. Brought down inside of the Jordan half just about, but lifted over the top now for the run of Olwan by Al-Rawabdi. Here's Tomari into the penalty area. Ball back to the edge of the box. Fakouri gets a fortunate touch. Can he get the ball out of his feet here? It was Olwan again arriving right on cue. His effort was closed down at source on the edge of the penalty area, but Jordan aren't giving this up just yet. Haddad, that's clever. Back heel into the feet of Nazib. Here he is again, Abdallah Nazib. Now it's Nessan Haddad. Delivers with venom up into the air off the head of Alabar. Knocked down by Schmid, the Austria goal scorer, into the feet of Posch, who can finally make the semi-emphatic clearance. Chested down by Al-Rashdan. Still inside of the Austria half. Now here is Al-Rawabdi. That's Taha. Now Al-Rawabdi again. Thought about the shot from range. Instead finds Olwan, holds it up on the edge of the box. Haddad with the delivery. It's inviting, and Schlager very nearly spilled it directly into the feet of Moussa Tamari. To make sure that he got purchase on the ball there, Alex Schlager. But Jordan are very keen on themselves now. Momentum very much in their favour at this stage. Austria don't seem to know what's hit them. Ten minutes into this second half, Austria 1, Jordan 1. It was 1-0 to Austria at the break, thanks to a Romano Schmid goal. Goal that's now been cancelled out by Ali Olwan. Goal of similar quality, wrapping his right foot around the ball and bending it into the far corner while the goalkeeper stood motionless and watched it sail past him. Free kick for Austria now inside of Jordanian territory on the right hand side to be taken by Konrad Leimer. Out 20 yards in front of the halfway line. He plays it right the way back to his goalkeeper Schlager, who is the only player not inside the Jordanian half of the pitch at the moment. Not too far off though, right on the edge of his own centre circle, and he sparks the attack now for Austria, launching it forward down the right hand side, and as it's switched by Konrad Leimer again from right to left, and Wene was the target and he's unable to bring it under his control. Headed out for what will be a Jordan goal kick, and with that Ralf Rangnick is ready to roll the dice again. Looks as though we're about to see the introduction of Paul Vanner, and we're also about to see the introduction of Borussia Dortmund's Karni Chukwuemeka as well. Paul Vanner of PSV, runaway Eredivisie champions in the Netherlands. Borussia Dortmund, European regulars in the German Bundesliga. Arnautovic with a knockdown. And a collision between Schmidt and Arawabdi. It's the Jordan man that gets the better of his opponents and attempts to play it forward. Here is Nazib out to the right hand side. And it's Olwan, the goal scorer, who manages to play it into the feet of Tamari. He gets it out of his feet. Taha back to Tamari, edge of the box, runs into traffic in the shape of Arnautovic, who switches it from right to left, but he's clipped from behind as he did so. Referee awards a free kick Austria's way. The 37-year-old down in a heap on the turf. And with this free kick now, Austria are ready to make those substitutions that I mentioned, and joining Chukwuemeka and Vanner is going to be Kevin Danso too. So that's 4 out of 5 changes now made by Ralf Rangnick. The first man to be replaced is going to be, I believe that was Niklas Sievold, but should I need to correct myself, I certainly will. David Alaba is also being brought off, as is Zeva Schlager. So the men being introduced are Karni Chukwuemeka, Kevin Danso and Paul Vanner. The men being replaced, David Alaba, Zeva Schlager and Philip Mwene. Niklas Sievold is keeping his place after all. With Marko Arnautovic already introduced at half-time. Leaves Austria with 31.5 minutes. There's just one substitution left to make. Jordan, by contrast, yet to make any at all. Are committed on Kevin Danso now. That's his first contribution to the game, is winning a free kick for his nation. Plays his club football for Tottenham Hotspur, who came dangerously close to relegation from the Premier League in the 2025-26 campaign. Finishing 4th bottom of the division and only surviving with certainty on the final day. Despite their status as one of the division's big 6 teams, as they like to be called. That's clever from Austria, out to the left-hand side. The delivery is teasing, and it's across the penalty area to be lashed at by Posch. On the left-hand side, it was the cross played into the danger area, and the newly introduced Vanner over the top of everybody, arriving right on cue. Stefan Posch, he was unable to get his knee over the ball with a half volley from the edge of the box. Over the top of Abu Leila's goal it goes. Played down the right-hand side now, following the goal kick for Jordan. The assistant referee on the near side has raised his flag. I believe the reason for such a flag raising, I'm not even sure it was for a throw-in. It looks as though the ball down the line had stayed in play, and I think Konrad Leimer has been judged to have fouled his opposite number in Haddad. The free kick will be taken now from about 10 yards inside of the Austrian half, very much on the right-hand side of the pitch. It's down the line by Tamari, and it's one that goes well ahead of Ehsan Haddad. You can only watch as it rolls away for what will be an Austria throw this time, no doubt about it. Kevin Danso now the defender. One substitute playing the ball into the feet of another in Vanner. And now it's back with Leinhardt, and now on the right-hand side, Posch with a ball down the line, which is going to be chased all the way by Romano Schmidt. Attempts to turn and drag the ball into the feet of Carney Chukwuemeka. Centre circle, Austria forced backwards, but they maintain the ball. Here's Sievold and now Vanna. Posh to Chukwuemeka, now Vanna again. Schmidt, Vanna, Chukwuemeka making a run into the box down the right hand side, and he runs into traffic in the form of Al Arab, who gets 2 bites at the cherry for the clearance. And Al Rashad does very well, good footwork to escape from Vanna and then Sievold, but Vanna on the recovery with a sliding challenge concedes a throw. Throw taken quickly by Taha. Jordan in a hurry to get this ball forward now. They fancy themselves with a little bit of momentum, and they might be able to make most of that now, as it's played by Tamari in towards the continued run of Fakuri. Kevin Danso is in the way inside the penalty area to intercept and make the clearance down the line. Clearance that leads to an Austria throw, taken quickly. Arnautovic holds it up on the halfway line. Here is Paul Vanna. And now here they come forward in numbers. Konrad Leimer just about able to keep the ball under his control and releases it to Sabitzer on the left before being bundled into. Sabitzer across the edge of the penalty area. Arnautovic, now Chukwuemeka. Held up by the Dortmund forward. There is Leinhardt, now Danso. Everybody back for Jordan, everybody forward for Austria. Danso out to the left for Sabitzer. And it's clipped into the middle. Dangerously, Abuleila's not held it. And it's going to drop for Carney Chukwuemeka. What a fantastic block that is. Abuleila stays down. Referee's going to award a stoppage, and I think a drop ball in favour of Jordan here because the goalkeeper remains on the turf. But in the absence of a goalkeeper able to stop the ball going in, the defensive duties of Jordan were ramped up to 11 there, and the man throwing himself in the way of the shot from Chukwuemeka from point blank range was Mohamed Abu Taha. Not entirely sure what it was that caught the Jordanian goalkeeper on the chin, but he's down nursing his head. I think an outstretched arm or elbow from Marko Arnautovic. Not exactly a small player to try and keep an eye on. Big imposing frame of a 6'3" forward. A veteran who knows all the games as well. But it's some heroic defending from Taha that has kept Jordan level in this game. As we tick into the 64th minute, Abuleila's brought back to his feet. How many fingers am I holding up, says the medical official. There's definitely an arm up from Marko Arnautovic. How much contact it makes with the face of the Hussein goalkeeper is debatable, but Chukwuemeka's strike towards an empty, unguarded goal is blocked heroically by Taha, has all the venom taken out of it, and the clearance is then made by Al-Nadi. With the goalkeeper back to his feet, now the drop ball will be given Austria's way, right on the halfway line. Here is Danso. The game resumes. Goalkeeper appears to be fine. Jordan's parity is maintained by some excellent last-ditch defending. Thrown on the left now for Austria. 20 minutes into this second half of this Group J game. Jordan now attempt to come forward. It's another ball over the top, which seems to be Austria's undoing in this match. The chase was on for Musa Tamari. Debatable whether or not he timed his run to perfection. Yeah, you have to imagine would have intervened if Tamari had been able to get in behind and put the ball in the net there. Being chased down all the way by Philipp Leinhardt, the defender on the recovery, who managed to bounce the ball off of Tamari and win a throw-in. A throw-in that allows Austria to stab it forward, and a bit of a miscued clearance by Al Arab means that they can maintain possession inside the Jordan half now. Here goes Sabitzer out to the left-hand side, able to turn and get a ball across the penalty area. Arnautovic was the target, cleared away by Nazib. Throw in to come for Austria. Short by Lima. Vanna. Lima again. Out to the left-hand side for Sabitzer. Decides not to deliver into the penalty area just yet. Plays it back towards Danso, who's arriving on the edge of the attacking third. Now it's Lima on the left again. Sabitzer further out wide. Sabitzer is able to deliver, and it's flicked up into the air off the foot of Nazib. Austria corner. The first of the second half. Marcel Sabitzer in a hurry to take. Corner in the first half for Jordan, which saw the ball hit the bar off the head of Nazib. And Austria go one better and restore their lead. In swinging delivery from the left for Marcel Sabitzer. Abu Layla, the goalkeeper, coming out to punch it. Hasn't got much purchase on it, and Arnautovic has turned and scored. Austria do reinstate their lead. It's Marko Arnautovic, the 37-year-old, still showing he has plenty to offer his nation. A real goal poacher's goal from the Zvezda forward. At 37 years old, he may well have thought that the opportunity to play at a World Cup for his nation had passed him by. But he's played and scored now on the grander stage. From close range, inside the 6-yard box, drilled into the bottom corner. And the appeals for Jordan that there was a foul in the build-up are going to fall on deaf ears, it seems. VAR is in effect, of course. But whether or not they will intervene. The referee is getting a word in his ear, and maybe the celebrations will be short-lived here for Austria. Was there a foul on Abalela in the build-up there as the corner was lifted in? The ball bounces up onto the chest of the man who will be surely credited the assist in Stefan Posch. I'm not sure if the claim is that there was a handball involved. His arm is not down by his side. It does seem to bounce off the part of the arm where the sleeve meets the skin. Did it or did it not strike the hand of Stefan Posch? Either it did or it didn't. It's Marko Arnautovic's goal. Very much in the balance. Heading into the 70th minute of this match. Referee is headed to the monitor, and we know what this normally means, and the Jordan players are already applauding the fact that this goal is going to be contested by the video assistant referee. Posch's arm is not down by his side. There is a gap that you can see, and the ball definitely strikes the arm. It's whether or not it strikes it below the sleeve line that is contentious. So no foul, but a potential handball that could wipe Marko Arnautovic's goal off the scoreboard. Nothing wrong with what Arnautovic does. He simply turns and fires into a fairly heavily crowded 6-yard box. Sneak into the corner. Well, let's hear the outcome, shall we? 20 minutes to play. Is it 2-1 or is it 1-1? The referee has chalked off the goal. Oh me, oh my. It's headache and heartbreak for Austria 20 minutes from time. Stefan Posch judged to have handled the ball in the build-up to a Marko Arnautovic goal that would have reinstated their lead against Jordan. But the Jordanian fans with more reason to celebrate. Their equaliser remains exactly that, an equaliser, as they ready their first change of the game. We're going to see the introduction of Salim Obaid. Brought on, I believe, as a like-for-like for Mohamed Al-Nadi. And with the introduction of Obaid, the second of two hydration breaks on either side of the half-time whistle is going to take place at the San Francisco Bay Area Stadium. Arnautovic continuing his appeals to the referee. Those appeals are going to continue to fall on deaf ears, it would seem. Well, he was a goal scorer against Cyprus as Austria qualified for this competition. He was a goal scorer twice in that game, 4 times in a 10-0 victory over San Marino, also in the qualification stages of this competition. He's not quite a goal scorer just yet at the finals. Instead, the goal scorers on the day: Romano Schmidt of Werder Bremen, bending a beauty into the top corner to give Austria the advantage in the first half. Cancelled out by Ali Olwan. National hero for Jordan for the amount of goals that he scored, the amount of important goals that he scored for his nation in the previous 12 to 18 months. Counter-attack goal that was bent beautifully into the far corner, in off the post, to give them parity on the grandest stage in international football. They thought their hope of remaining level with Austria was shattered by Marko Arnautovic just 5 minutes ago, but a lengthy VAR check and an eventual decision by the referee to chalk the goal off for handball in the build-up by Stefan Posch means that with just over 16 minutes of normal time to play, it remains Austria 1, Jordan 1. Hydration break also allows the two managers to have a word with their respective charges. Ralf Rangnick giving his Austria team an earful. Jamal Salami still very animated on the touchline with his Jordan players. So let's keep going in this game. They're on the precipice of recording their first ever points on a stage like this. Their first ever game on a stage like this, scoring their first ever goal on a stage like this, making history for their nation, with plenty of locals in the stands in California. Same can be said of Austria. It's their first appearance at this tournament since 1998. Far cry from the days of 1934 when they finished 4th and 1954 when they finished 3rd. All these players on the pitch have ever played at this competition before now. Here they are making their impact. And the hydration break is over. The game can resume now with Abalela, the goalkeeper, making a clearance for Jordan. Carney Chukwuemeka looking to drive the ball right the way back where it came from now, approaching the edge of the box, sidestepping before trying to release it to Marcel Sabitzer, closed down at source. Corner to come for Austria. This is how they thought they had retaken the lead just a few moments ago. Can they do the same again minus a handball? See what Sabitzer has up his sleeve. And swinging delivery from the left. And it is headed in. And Marko Arnautovic has done it again. And there was definitely no handball on that occasion. And Austria have retaken the lead. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Choice words had now inside of the penalty area between the protesting Jordan defenders, who do not have a leg to stand on if they want that one chalked off. The yellow card is being brandished here for a little scuffle that took place right after that Austria goal, but this time they do have the lead and there is no debating that one. Delivery from Sabitzer, plumb on the head of Arnautovic on the edge of the 6-yard box. Or maybe it's not. Arnautovic very keen on claiming the goal, but I'm not actually sure he gets a touch at all, because it looks as though it deflects away off Yazan Al-Arab. And I think it'll be credited as an own goal for the FC Seoul defender, as he is the man with the majority of contact on that delivery by Sabitzer as it sails beyond Yazid Abulela. With 13 minutes to go, yes, it is Austria 2, Jordan 1. Yes, it was from a corner, and yes, Marko Arnautovic did his best to claim it. But Al-Arab is the unfortunate Jordanian defender who will be awarded the credit for an own goal as Austria retake control of this game. Marcel Sabitzer was the man yellow carded in the immediate aftermath of that goal for his part in a very small fracas that took place inside the penalty area immediately following the ball striking the back of the net. Haddad, as Jordan look to try and restore parity as quickly as they can. His his delivery is deflected from the right hand side into the arms of Alex Schlager. Kevin Danso. Danso again. But well under control on the left hand side by Linehardt, and now Chukwuemeka can spark an attack for Austria. Are also involved, running maybe 30 to 40 yards to keep this one going. And Linehardt again. Danso. Into the air off the head of Chukwuemeka. Danso. So again. Lima now to Kevin Danso. 10 minutes of normal time to play. A reminder that this game can also be viewed on your national and local broadcasters. Don't be shy about that. And moments worth watching from this match. Goals especially so. The strike to give Austria the lead from Schmidt, and the strike to equalise for Jordan by Ali Olwan. Absolutely worth a replay. There's only so much I can describe from an audio point of view. Marko Arnautovic caught offside now as Austria again attempt to create a little bit of an attacking opportunity for themselves. Build up there as Arnautovic was caught offside. Abdallah Nazib has just started limping now, moving very gingerly towards the touchline. I think he's ready for being replaced. Two changes to be made now for Jordan with 10 minutes to play. Two out of the 5 that they are allotted, one of which has already been made. Seeing the introduction to the game of Saeed Al-Rossan and Mahmoud Al-Mardi. Nazib is one man that is being replaced, and the other, as the fourth official raises his board, is the captain Ehsan Haddad. So Inheriting the armband is the newly introduced Mahmoud Al-Mardi. And on the pitch by Saeed Al-Rossan. Danso heads the clearance back where it came from now for Austria, brought down on the halfway line. Here is Al-Mardi, the newly introduced skipper for Jordan. Kevin Danso with a header forward again, following his ball towards the edge of the penalty area. Al-Mardi has another chance to deliver into the box now from deep on the right hand side, and coming a long way to meet it is Alex Schlager, and he does get there first, not without barging his way past Lee Olwan. Olwan and his fellow defender Philip Leinart. Away it goes from the edge of the penalty area. Throw in on the right hand side now for Posch. Another change to come for Austria, their last of the game. They've already made 4 out of the 5, and their goal scorer, their first goal scorer anyway. In fact, he is their only goal scorer at this stage, because the second that they've scored was an own goal. So Romano Schmidt, who put a ball on the postage stamp 21 minutes into this game, is now replaced by Austria's number 21 in Patrick Wimmer of Hoffenheim. That's all 5 changes to be made by Ralf Rangnick. You better hope that in the ensuing 7.5 minutes plus stoppages that Austria suffer no injuries or necessary changes. Here is Konrad Laimer now for Austria. Kevin Danso. Back to Schlager on the edge of the penalty area. Again, the goalkeeper gets it back from Leinart, and now it's Danso. Able to squeeze it through the gap, get it out of his defensive third, and now Jordan getting forward in numbers. The delivery is Olwan's, and the header was looking to be Tamari's. Couldn't quite get there in time. Made in the end by Austria from the corner of their box by Stefan Posch. Brought under the control of Saeed Al-Rossan, the substitute for Jordan. Across their back line now, they're content to keep it under their own control at the moment. Salim Obaid getting his first real involvement in the game, and as he attempts to play it forward, it has been cut out. Chukwuemeka looking to make the most of that opportunity for Austria. He runs right the way back into Obaid, who wins it back cleanly on the edge of the penalty area. Makes the slightly more emphatic clearance to the halfway line for Jordan now, and it's given away by Stefan Posch after he brings it down. Chukwuemeka now tripping up midfielder Al Rashdan. Free kick for Jordan. Every Austria player behind the ball. Jordan still with possession in their own half following the short pass. Here is Al Rashdan, the man that just won that free kick. Backwards to Al Arab. Appears to have shaken off the stigma of having scored an own goal. Now the delivery is Tamari's, inviting over the top of everybody. It's going to come right to the back post for Al-Mardi. Al-Mardi backwards to Al-Rossan. Goes now from the edge of the centre circle now for Jordan. They are maintaining possession, but Austria are throwing everybody they've got behind the ball in the closing 4.5 minutes of this game. You want to watch the kitchen sink time from this match, Group J. You can on your local or national broadcasters. Laimer with a throw now for Austria. One more goal would surely seal the deal, and they look keen on grabbing it now as Sabitzer delivers early. Arnautovic was lurking on the edge of the box, and arriving right at the back post was Stefan Posch. Cleared right the way back where it came from for Jordan, but recovered by Vanner for Austria. Now Lima, Sabitzer. Vanner again. Turning and driving forward is the PSV midfielder, looking to find Arnautovic, can't quite, and there's a collision between two players off the ball there, and it looked like there might have been a collision of heads too between Stefan Posch and Ode Fakuri. Fakuri discouraging the Jordan medical team to come onto the field, but come onto the field they will anyway. Posch not so much, he appears to be in plenty of discomfort. Corey quick to sit up. His opposite number still very much down. Three minutes of normal time to play. Two more changes in the offing for Jordan. You see the removal from the field of Moussa Tamari, as well as Ode Fakuri. Being brought on in their stead is going to be Ali Al-Zazi. That Fakuri is unable to come off the pitch just yet due to his head injury. Well, his potential head injury that he has sustained in that collision. He's back to his feet now. Gingerly makes his way off the pitch with a handshake for good luck off the goal scorer for Jordan. In Olwan, replaced by Al-Zazi then. The other man being brought onto the pitch, Mohamed Abu Hashish. Stefan Posch is now being escorted very slowly indeed off the pitch for Austria, who are out of substitutions. They're going to have to play with 10 men temporarily. In 90 seconds of normal time to play in this Group J game. Drop ball for Austria now. If they can hold on to it, they're going to take 3 points away from this match. They join Argentina in Group J with 3 points, although they will be behind the defending champions of this competition on goal difference. Lionel Messi scoring a hat-trick without reply against Algeria in today's earlier match. This one in Santa Clara, a much more even affair, with individual moments of brilliance, moments of history for both of these nations. In a minute, Austria are going to take all of the plaudits, unless something special can happen for Jordan. Now here is Al Rabdi. Tries to fire it forward down the line, looking for Olwan. Captain Al-Mahdi gets involved, attempting to thread it down the line. Al-Daoud dispossessed. Sabitzer gets the return from Arnautovic, but the challenge is made by Al-Arab, who came very far out of his assigned position of central centre-back to meet his opponent head-on. And concede to throw, and with that, the electronic board is going to go up, and this number may be quite a big one. Are you ready? 10 minutes at the end of this game between Austria and Jordan. A collision of heads, a hydration break, and a VAR check for a disallowed Austria goal. And there is still plenty of time indeed for Austria to add to their advantage or potentially lose it altogether, depending on just how keen Jordan are to truly plant their foot, plant their flag to the greatest international tournament in football. 10 additional minutes in Santa Clara. David Danso into the feet of Paul Vanner. And here is Leinart. Chukwuemeka receives the ball into his feet in space on the halfway line and turns, driving forward. Chukwuemeka now into traffic. Challenge made and clearance eventually by Al Arab. Covered by Danso. Chukwuemeka, oh, it's careless. Arnautovic is going to pounce. Good save by Abu Layla. And eventually the clearance is made by Al Daoud. It's going to be recovered by Posh on the halfway line, who can only head it out for a Jordan throw. It was a poor touch from Yazan Al-Arab, who's already been the unfortunate victim of an own goal in this game. Just now unable to bring the ball under his control as it was played in towards him. Very nearly stabbing it in behind. Well, Marko Arnautovic one-on-one inside the penalty area. Closed down well by Yazid Abu Layla. Stefan Posh is just receiving a talking to from the referee. Jordan in a hurry to get the ball forward down the left-hand side, following that throw inside their own half. Getting into a crossing position. Challenge was made on Mohamed Abu Taha. That has resulted in a free kick that is virtually a corner here for Jordan. It will be taken by the substitute captain Mohamed Al Mahdi of Al Hussein. Does he have up his sleeve here? Plenty of bodies in the box wearing both shirt colours. Headed away for Austria, right to the edge of the penalty area. Brought down by Al-Azazi, who does shoot from range, and it's trickled just wide of Alex Schlager's post. I thought he'd made history there for Jordan, burying a ball into the bottom corner from 30 yards. Ali Al-Azazi just about unable to creep it inside of Schlager's left-hand post. He was down quickly to his left to try and scramble it away. Whether or not he would have had it covered, I suppose we will never know, given the fact the shot itself was not on target. Oh dear, that was very nearly a disaster for Jordan there, for the goalkeeper Abu Layla, who received it into his feet. A little bit of a snappy pass from the midfielder Al Rawabdi, and on the turn Abu Layla very nearly toe poked the ball into his own net. That would have been a true disaster. Instead it goes past the post. Austria corner, needlessly conceded by Jordan. Their own worst enemies if this leads to a goal that could very well seal the points for Austria. Sabitzer's delivery. Headed away at the near post this time. Jordan have learnt their lesson, and Lima's volley from 30 yards leaves plenty to be desired. Goal kick for Jordan. There again, following the short goal kick. 4 minutes plus into the additional 10 at the end of this Group J group stage game. Plenty of time yet for Austria to add to their total, plenty of time for Jordan to potentially fight their way back into this game. Bimmer going down the right hand side now. He's had little to do since his introduction. Interception now made for Posh, but the referee has awarded advantage play. For Jordan, and it was brought back for a free kick just inside of their half. A free kick which is taken again down the line and leads to a challenge made by Chukwuemeka on Al-Mahdi. It was made cleanly by the Dortmund attacker. Throw in for Jordan. Open from the left by Taha. Lifted over the top now by Taha. Brought down by Vanna in the midfield third. And now a ball deflects off the head of Sabitzer. Chasing it down was Marcel Sabitzer, as well as Al-Arab, who did just about get there first. He had about a 2 or 3 yard head start on Marcel Sabitzer there. He pokes the ball away for a throw in. Here is Al-Arab now. 4 minutes of the additional 10 at the end of this game left to play. Obaid. Forward it goes now by Al Arab. Racing it down the left-hand side is Olwan. Very well shielded from the ball by Stefan Posch. Kick forward now for Austria following the throw-in to the halfway line, where the turn by Wimmer unable to bear any fruit. It's back with Danso, the defender, following the throw, and it's a bit of a hospital pass by Danso into the feet of the goalkeeper Schlager, who had to come to the edge of his box to clear that before Olwan nipped in and pinched it. Now Chukwuemeka unable to keep it under his control as he runs into trouble in the form of Salim Obaid. Obaid gets the ball back following a throw-in, taken by Taha. Switch from left to right for Jordan now, brought down by Al Daoud, who did ever so well to maintain possession despite the presence of Paul Vanner. That was Schlager now, the Austria goalkeeper, following an interception well made by Siewald. Jordan doing their best to hold on to the ball as much as they can in these closing stages, but that might come back to bite them now. Here is Lima down the left. An opportunity well created between Lima and Sabitzer, and now Sabitzer drives down the line into space. Marcel Sabitzer delivers with the left foot. Arnautovic was waiting at the back post. The interception was crucial by Obaid. It's chased down by Taha now, who can't make a conclusive clearance. Backwards it goes by Wimmer. Lineart on the halfway line. 2 minutes of the additional 10 at the end of this match to play. Can Austria find a goal to seal the victory? Can Jordan find an equaliser? Danso. Lineart. Posch back to Lineart. Austria content to keep the ball under their control, deep inside their own half. Schlager, the goalkeeper, lifting it out to the left. Konrad Lima, who's moved from the right wing position to the left back position as this game has progressed. Arnautovic now knocks it down. Chukwuemeka 25 yards away from goal. Arnautovic again gets the return. Marko Arnautovic, it's deflected, or it very nearly deflected in. That would have been a second own goal, and it would have been the substitute Salim Obaid if it had dipped into the far corner of Abu Leila's goal. Marko Arnautovic taking 2 or 3 touches in the build-up there to trade passes with Chukwuemeka and with Wimmer, and his eventual ball across the face back to one of those 2 players was deflected out for an Austria corner with a minute of additional time to play. He's had a goal ruled out, and he's had a goal taken away from him in terms of credit by the fact that it was an own goal instead. This may well be the last action of the match. 9.5 minutes of the additional 10 having been played. You've been tuning in on your local or national broadcasters, but just before this just before this corner kick is taken, there is a potential penalty being reviewed by VAR here. And as Obaid slides in to deny Marko Arnautovic's delivery, there's a question of handball, and the referee, in a much quicker time than it took him to go and review the Austria goal for Arnautovic that was chalked off for handball, he's headed right over to the monitor. Looks like we might not see a corner after all. We may well see a spot kick right at the end. We've got 100 minutes on the clock now. We're into the 10th of additional time. And Arnautovic's delivery, it's quite undeniable that it was denied by the arm of Obaid, which is outstretched. I don't think the referee's going to have a choice here. One or 2 replays. Arnautovic's delivery very clearly strikes Obaid on the outstretched arm below the sleeve line. I'm not sure Jordan have a leg to stand on here. Still being checked over. This is 5 or 6 looks at this opportunity here. I'm not sure it needed this many reviews, but the referee is going to make his way back onto the pitch now, and I think what we're about to hear is that the penalty is going to be awarded to Austria for the final kick of the game. Penalty awarded. Handball against Salim Obaid. Thought he'd gotten away with one by the fact that the deflected cross didn't go into the corner all on its own. But instead of conceding an own goal, he has conceded a penalty, and Marko Arnautovic, who has been trying since his introduction at half-time to finally get himself a goal on this stage, at 37 years old, playing in his first iteration of this tournament. He's had one chalked off for handball in the build-up. He thought he'd scored a second, but the conclusive touch came off of Yazan Al-Arab. And now with the last kick of the game, can he score a third for Austria? You bet he can. No disputing that one. Marko Arnautovic scores Austria's third of the game and seals all 3 points in the opening game of Group J. For Ralf Rangnick's team, Salim Obaid hangs his head. Jordan have put up a fight in their first ever game at this level, but they've been undone in the end by a team who, despite having not featured at this competition for 28 years, are still able to be considered veterans. One-time bronze medalists, one-time fourth place. And now in 2026, they're off the mark on the right foot. Marko Arnautovic's penalty right at the end, sealing a 3-1 victory for Austria, to take them to within a goal of group leaders Argentina, who played just 3 hours ago and overcame Algeria by 3-0. It's 3-1 in favour of Das team. And the kick-off for Jordan won't even be taken. It's a round of applause from the defeated manager Jamal Salami, who knows his team have put up a fight in this game against Austria, but they've been undone in the first half by an excellent goal from Romano Schmidt, an own goal by Yazan Al-Arab in the final 15 minutes of the second half, and a very last minute penalty for Marko Arnautovic. But a moment that they will cherish forever was that equaliser by Ali Oloan, bent in off the post to get them off the mark in the greatest international footballing tournament on the planet. But at the end of the day, the points are going home with the Austrians. It's full time at the San Francisco Bay Area Stadium. It's Austria 3, Jordan 1. Thank you very much for tuning into this live audio coverage. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. I've been Jay Cooper, and we'll see you very soon for some more live football action. Goodbye for now.
Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page.